If you've ever thought to yourself, who am I to start a podcast? Who would listen to me? Or any other version of this limiting belief, you're gonna physically feel your shoulders relax after listening to this episode. You've guessed it. Today, we're talking about the fears, insecurities, and mental barriers that stop people from sharing their voices in the podcast format. And what you'll quickly realize is we're all the same. No matter our levels of confidence or the results we've gotten for our clients, we all struggle with similar thoughts when it comes to launching our podcast. That's what makes us human, after all, and that's a comforting thought. And to make this episode even stickier, I won't be the only one sharing some of my personal insecurities, but you'll also hear some struggles articulated by some amazing, successful, kind, and real life people. Let me explain. This episode is a direct result of a guest workshop I hosted inside my dear friend Simon Town's community, and it is called the Email Academy, which I will link to in the show notes. Well, I talked about podcasting, how solopreneurs can launch their own podcast, how to stay consistent, how to create episodes, and so forth. But most importantly, I started with the blockers that stop solopreneurs from pressing that sneaky little red record button. And without exaggeration, this conversation, this workshop turned into something much deeper than how to quote unquote launch a podcast as a solopreneur. Inside this portion of the workshop, you will hear me coaching the attendees through some of the fears they shared in real time with me and helping them reframe them and see past them. Because if you're already helping people, if clients already trust you, if your lived experiences have helped someone move forward, then your voice carries a lot of weight already. So if you've ever thought to yourself, I'm not a natural speaker, I'm not experienced enough, who would even listen to me? Stay right where you are. And one quick little note before we dive in. If you run a membership, a mastermind, a coaching program, or an online community of any kind, and you would like someone to come in and teach your people about podcasting, I would absolutely love to support you and your people. You can reach out to me directly through my website, sayyestopodcasting.com/contact, which I will link to in the show notes as well. And we can create a workshop tailored specifically to your audience and their goals. All right, now let's jump into this mini podcast therapy session inside Simon's community. Enjoy. This is Say Yes to Podcasting, where solopreneurs learn how to start podcasts that attract their ideal clients and do the marketing for them. I'm your host, Anja Lordanic. Say Yes to Podcasting today. We can get the negatives out of the way first. We can talk about what's holding most people back, mindset-wise, because it all starts right here in our minds. What stops and blocks people literally for years from launching their shows? Because, as I said, only then is it possible to build on that foundation. So these are some of the most common things I hear podcasters say, aspiring podcasters, and I have to be transparent with each and every one of these sections. I have experienced 99% of the things I will be teaching here today. So what most people say is, I'm not a natural speaker, which is something I believed about myself. I wasn't training public speaking. I don't have a journalist background. I'm an introvert, which is what most business people I tend to meet are. I'm not famous. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not Meghan Markle, who will listen to me yapping about something in my podcast. But I want to debunk this really, really clearly. I want to provide you with a reframe. If you successfully help your clients every single day with problems they're having, if they're talking to you and paying you to solve those problems, that means you will have listeners, which will turn into more clients. So every service provider is different. And those who help other people thrive, those who can get paid for their services, to get paid for their expertise. And it doesn't really matter if they're an introvert, an extrovert, a neurodivergent person, for example, a service provider with a niche within a niche. And the exact same goes for podcast hosts. So my point here is take what you've been given. It doesn't matter if you're an extrovert, an introvert, if you have some sort of disability or insecurity that has been so debilitating thus far in your life, that has been stopping you from launching your podcast, take it with you, make it your companion, and share it with the world, because someone will connect with you precisely because of that quote unquote insecurity or hindrance, which is mostly inside your head. And most of the time, believe it or not, people don't even notice what you've been insecure about until you start sharing it. So imperfections and being human is something that is very much appreciated and something that is even encouraged nowadays, because no AI can ever come close to your lived experience, to the lives you've touched, to the clients you've helped with your services, no matter in what field you're in. So while I was prepping for this section of the workshop, I often come up with good ideas on the go while I'm walking my daughter, while my mind is flowing free. And what I came up with is this: what is more valuable than your expertise wrapped inside your lived experiences, your stories, failures, and wins? So you, as a podcast host, I know everyone says you're an individual, you're special, you're unique. And this, what I said 30 seconds ago, is my version of that. So take what you've been given and put a mic in front of you, and people will connect with you. And I have another quote from another person that really stuck with me and that I created an entire podcast episode about, which is this one: the mess that we walk through becomes the medicine we give to others. And it is something that really doesn't even have to do with business. We can talk about our personal lives. So whenever we're helping someone else, our friends, acquaintances, or someone else, we're actually drawing from our own lived experiences and are able to provide a unique perspective. And the same goes with hosting a podcast. Whether we tend to look at it like that or not, I'm just trying to provide you with a reframe here. Another thing that that is super important here and that we need to truly remember: if we don't share our knowledge and our stories, our expertise with the world, we're actually doing our listeners, and future clients a disservice, because they need us, they need our help, they need our guidance, and they will get that thanks to what we've lived, the mess that we've lived through by this point. And another thing I would like to mention here is what would happen if someone that you admire didn't step up to the plate, decided not to show up, decided not to speak up, or start posting on LinkedIn, create that post, launch that podcast, launch that blog, create that YouTube video? Can you imagine how different your life would be if your role model in life or in business decided to stay silent and let their insecurities block them and stop them from going forward? So if you feel comfortable enough here, I would like for us to share what's holding us back from launching our own podcast. And I have no issues with starting first, because whenever I share this, whenever I'm a guest on other people's shows, and whenever I talk to my clients, I share this freely, because whenever we talk about our insecurities so openly, we give them less power. They literally lose power. So whenever I talk about mine, my number one insecurity was English not being my first language. And I thought that people would not take me as seriously because, I don't know, they could hear an accent. And wrapped around in that was the fact that I was a young woman with not enough decades of experience compared to some of my peers who were in the game ever since, I don't know, podcasts were recorded using huge microphones and huge computers. And I'm here in the new modern age talking about something they've been talking about since I was 10 years old. So that's my insecurity number 1 and 2. And the third thing that is similar to what I talked about is I thought I needed to know everything in order to teach people something, in order to launch a podcast. So, what I realized later on while talking to clients and leads and while posting on LinkedIn regularly, putting myself out of my comfort zone, I realized that people were eager to learn and that they know less than I thought they knew. They were a couple of steps behind me and they were ready to learn. So those are some of my insecurities, and if anyone feels comfortable enough, feel free to share what is holding you back or some of your insecurities that you have around public speaking in this sense.
I'll put my foot forward because, yeah, with me, it's the fact that I prefer writing to speaking, and I know that I can speak. I just find that the way that my brain is so scattered with thoughts and things like that, that it makes more sense to put something on paper than just like fire off 1,000 different like tangents at once because I struggle to focus.
What you just shared was clear as day. And whenever we work together, Simon, whenever you explain certain concepts to me, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. So if you think about putting a mic in front of you and sitting down for a recording session, that's scary. But when I asked you this question and when I ask you email related questions, you just say it like you would every day, like you do every day. Sorry, Dina, go ahead.
I mean, my reason is the same as Simon's, only I believe I'm a terrible speaker. I don't think I can speak at all, and I believed before a lot. Now I don't even think about it so much, but still do to an extent. That people will also judge my writing based on that. That they will think, oh, maybe she's not such a good writer because, I will make many more grammatical mistakes or when I'm speaking in real time and stuff like that. So basically, I always admired people who can, like Scott, for example, who can just speak and be so perfect. I don't know which other word to use. Like when he speaks is like me writing a post for 1 hour, making sure that every sentence is absolutely perfect. This is what the man accomplishes in real life. So like,
Which Scott are
how
you
do
talking
that?
about? Is there a Scott that we're
You.
not aware of? I want, please, Scott, can you come? Who are you speaking of? I just need to know,
No,
please.
no, that's 100% true. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I don't know how much I would need to practice to get to that level. And yeah, I just like admire people who can do it in real time. It's million times harder. I had other issues as well, but now I forgot. I'm talking too long anyways, so
I guess in this Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, I'll go next. Um, for me, it's a few things. I'm good at creating excuses. I don't let my clients get away with them, but for me, I'm good with mine.
Mhm.
My biggest one was time commitment. I was like, yeah, I'm barely getting enough stuff out that I want to get out. How can I possibly create a system to now do this while I'm still building and figuring things out? I didn't feel like things are stable enough where I have enough time to do it. That's one. The second thing, which is kind of funny, but I'm going to admit it, I'm like, another sales guy with a podcast? Like, what makes me different? Why is anyone going to want to listen to me? Right? Because I follow some of these guys, even the ones I don't like, just to see what they're doing to make sure I don't do that, but also to pick up on any nuggets that I can use. And I just thought to myself, well, why is someone going to go for me if these guys already have like 80,000 followers, 100,000 followers? I'll have six. Why are they going to click and come to me? So the big thing was time. And I just didn't want to be another, I don't know. It's not about the small fish. I don't care. It's not from the ego perspective. Maybe it is. It's more from like I just couldn't see the business case for someone clicking on me as opposed to someone else that's already 50,000 episodes ahead, all this content, and kind of knows what they're doing. So I don't know. That's kind of where I was coming from.
Awesome. You shared way more than I anticipated. So thank you so much. There is a lot to unpack here. And I want to, since we're in real time, I want to address what you mentioned. And Scott, you mentioned being just another sales guy having a podcast. But this is something I mentioned, I noticed very recently. Do you know when you buy a new car or a new piece of clothing, you start noticing that in the street? That is the only thing you see. So if you wanted to launch a sales podcast, that would be the only thing. That is the same with me. And I noticed some of my peers having podcasts about podcasting for 3 to 5 years. You can only imagine how much content there is out there. But I made it my mission to be either their partner, like a collaborator, or to do my own thing and not to look what they're doing at all. So there is a lot to be said about that, because how many sales podcasts can be out there and how many are doing well? And it's a non-issue that it's not even questionable that you would fit into that story. You also said something about having 6 people signing up. But can you imagine how many clients you actually know this figure? How many clients you actually need a month? If you have 6 listeners, like you are one of mine, can you imagine how valuable that would be? Those people tuning in every week. And it would be probably much bigger than 6. Let's go with 50 people per episode per week.
If we're counting family, yeah.
Yeah, your mom will always be proud of you. That's
for sure.
a fact.
She'll be a guest.
But most of us as solopreneurs need a handful of clients every week, or every month, I should say. So if we get 2 or 3 high-ticket clients each month, we're good to go.
Yeah,
right.
So
that's
just
something.
newsletters. Like with email,
Yeah.
you don't need 10,000 subscribers to make money. You need like 100. Like I'd rather have a podcast that hits 5 people per month who actually care about what I'm doing and can help me. That will hire me, than reach 100,000 people, try and be the next Joe Rogan, and then like go, oh, now everything in my life is built around selling other people's stuff. Like
Exactly.
And I've seen some of those sponsorships that people get, and they go, oh, I'm going to monetize my podcast with a sponsorship, and then earn pennies. No.
Yep. Thank you for mentioning that. We're also going to mention that in some of the later slides. The main takeaway from this section after this mini therapy session is you're already helping people, and you might as well keep on doing it, but with a microphone in front of you. As we mentioned with Simon before, he's great at explaining concepts verbally. He's doing that every day in front of clients on Zoom calls. He might even have a microphone in front of him, but he's not calling it a podcast. So that's a reframe I think we can all walk away with today. See, did you feel your shoulders drop? What you just heard was a really special moment, or a few moments, inside the workshop, and I'm so happy I got the chance to share it with you here as well. So thank you for listening all the way through. And don't forget to hit me up on my website, sayestopodcasting.com/contact, if you would like for me to create something similar for your community, membership, or coaching program. Whatever you decide to do, just don't let the insecurities stop you from launching your podcast. Please, your voice deserves to be heard. All right, I will see you next week.